Live from the Man Cave, treadmills and tangents with Coach Aaron Cerrone and his army of wellness warriors. Live in discussion of all things health and wellness, along with community topics they happen to stumble upon.
Good morning, Omaha, and welcome to the first ever episode of Treadmills and Tangents. I am Coach Aaron, your host on this health, wellness, and other random topics of a journey we're going to take you on. I got my wellness warriors here with me today. Timmy, how you doing?
Doing good,
I got Sam over there as well.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Guys, I'm incredibly excited to be able to bring our show to the answer. We're the only health and wellness show on the air on 94.5 and 1420.
Knock it out. First one. Let's do it.
It should be fun. Guys, one of the first things I want to do is, since we're so new, I wanted to bring to our audience, kind of some of the current topics in terms of health and wellness and diet and nutrition as well. Now, I want to tell everybody, our new listeners, we are not experts. We are just people that have been in the fitness and health and martial arts industry for a greater part of our lives, and we're bringing to you our firsthand experiences, what we're bringing to you. And along the way, yes, we do have a bunch of certifications that we can laundry list, but that's really not important. We're here more for your entertainment and to help bring some good information to you that might help you out to live a healthier and happier life and more vibrant life here in the Big O. So one of the first things we want to do is I found this cool little article out on the internet, and it was about diet trends. And the title is, These 10 Diet Trends Need to Disappear in 2018.
Oh, boy.
Disappear.
Yeah.
That's kind of the death march for
A little bit
diet
of a
trends.
death
Like, what
march.
did these diets do to you to make them need to disappear?
Somebody's ex-girlfriend got too hot is what I think maybe happened. And now
To the diet trend? That could be.
Could be.
So
It's good reasoning.
this is out of Reader's Digest, and by no means is this a slight to Reader's Digest at all. Everybody has their opinion. Nutrition is one of the most hotly debated topics outside of politics, and there's studies on either side of it that can prove, both arguments. But really, what it comes down to, guys, before we get into this, is you have to find a diet and nutrition approach that's best for you. I think we can all agree to that. Absolutely. But nonetheless, let's get to it. So these 10 diet trends need to disappear according to Reader's Digest. The first one, the military diet. Now, I'm in the military, going on 22 years in the Air Force, 8.5 active duty, 22 with reserves, and I've never heard of the military diet.
Never heard of it either.
yeah, military dependent. My whole life, 18 years when I was
Of dependency?
Yeah.
18 years of dependency.
I know. I was like, I'm 35, so that doesn't really play. But I also have not heard of the military diet. So
I'm more concerned about your dependency right now.
I got out of diapers a couple weeks ago, so I'm doing pretty good.
We're going to have an on-air introduction right now for Tim, as he just came out and admitted to us. Anyway, so the military diet, apparently, and after reading this, if it's really true, I would poo-poo this as well. It emphasizes less than 1,000 calories per day, processed foods such as hot dogs and saltine crackers. One meal for breakfast might include 5 saltine crackers, a slice of cheddar cheese, and a small apple. Which that into itself doesn't sound bad, but if that's it, I can see how certified dietitians and nutritionists would not like this. So I'm cool. I'm cool with kicking out the military
I would
diet.
kick it out
Poo-poo on the military diet.
But I would need to read up on it more, to be quite honest. I don't like to take things at face value, which is really what we're doing here. But that's fine. The next one, and Timmy's going to love this, the ketogenic diet.
No.
Now, let me give some backstory here, everybody. So our wellness warrior here, Tim, I did a keto challenge in our gym March, May time
Last May,
frame.
yep.
And it was really just an effort on my part to get people to clean up their diet. I really didn't care if people went strict keto. And for those of you who don't know what keto diet is, it's a ketogenic diet, and the goal is to get your diet to be roughly 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbohydrates, with the idea that you would teach your body to move away from using carbohydrates as its main energy source and use body fat, which is arguably what the body was designed to do. And in doing so, you would lose weight and get more fit, have more energy, and yada, 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 with all the benefits. Now, this is the scorn of many registered dietitians and doctors worldwide. But it is hard to argue with the results. Tim, for example, what weight did you start at?
300.
So Tim was 300 pounds. Struggled with his weight his whole life, and he's very open about it. And in starting keto, he gradually eased his way into it, and then went strict keto for 8 months now?
Yeah, right around eight months.
So 300 pounds, and Tim, you weighed in the other day. What do you weigh now?
201 and a half.
201. So Tim lost 100 pounds inside of a year. Now there's exercise going on there as well. Let's
Absolutely.
call a spade a spade. So he is exercising regularly, but he recently just went to the doctor and got your full blood work. And your cholesterol, although your total cholesterol was 250, your triglycerides were in the toilet,
Absolutely,
which is
yep.
the dangerous health indicators, for lack of a better term, and your HDLs were through the roof.
Yep.
So your good cholesterol was up, your bad cholesterol was down, and your doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
Yep. He said when I'm over 40, maybe look at cholesterol medicine, which my mom is also on cholesterol medicine, so that could be genetic. But he basically said, keep doing what you're doing, be a good role model, and no concerns.
So, Tim loses 100 pounds on a ketogenic diet, but you have some people out there that just don't like it. So I am a fan of it. You can take any diet to an extreme. And I think we can all agree to that. There are people who would take ketogenic diet to an extreme. I'm sure there are people who take the aforementioned military diet to an extreme. You still have to tailor it to what best fits your needs. But it's tough to argue with the results, So I do not agree with this article to poo-poo the ketogenic diet.
Well, we've also had multiple people in the gym do it and have had success with it.
True
so
statement.
it's not just one.
Correct. Yes.
Tim is not the only one. Several of our coaches have done ketogenic diets, and as well as our students with great success, and they feel great. They have a lot of energy. All the cholesterol levels are right where they should be. I'm sorry, Reader's Digest. I do not agree.
Keep the keto.
Keep the keto.
Keep the keto.
Next on the list is the paleo diet.
Paleo.
Now, for a lot of people, they really can't tell the difference between paleo and ketogenic, and they're pretty similar in terms of the foods they end up eating. When I was growing up, you heard of the caveman diet, and that was anything you couldn't naturally grab, kill, or pull from a tree, you wouldn't eat. And then it has since grown to various versions of it. On the surface, they're essentially the same thing. Stay away from processed foods, carbohydrates, stick to lean meats, animal proteins, animal fats. They stay away from dairy and grains and legumes and fruits, which is essentially what keto does as well. They're pretty close other than just the profile of their foods. What the nutritionists like to say negatively about ketogenic diet and paleo diet is that they're very worried about the high amount of meats, cholesterol going up, relying on fat, because a lot of nutritionists are still stuck in the old food pyramid in which the very small portion of your diet should be fat and a large portion should be grains, nuts, and fruits. And, studies are starting to show that it's actually potentially upside down. And we are big advocates of the upside down food pyramid.
The upside down.
Or the correct food pyramid.
If you're a Stranger Things fan, the upside down. I mean, there's some Stranger Things people maybe listening. The upside down is a real thing, man.
So you're saying the upside down is actually the right side up?
It could be.
It could also be at what angle you're looking at the pyramid.
All true facts right there.
We might be getting deep into some
relative.
things that are beyond
And then the real
paleo
question
diet.
is what lies beneath the pyramid?
That'd be a whole nother topic for later.
Yeah.
Next on the list. So we are in favor of the ketogenic diet and the paleo diet. Next on the list is clean eating. Now, this kind of caught me off guard because who would poo-poo clean eating? Like clean eating has been a mantra of dietitians for as long as I can remember. But what I'm reading is that it's how you interpret quote unquote clean eating. So clean eating initially was stay away from processed foods, eat whole real foods. Again, as people will take it to an extreme, has now gotten to literally the cleanliness of the foods.
Oh, jeez. Really?
If something's on a package you can't pronounce, you should not be eating it, which I'm all in favor of.
Sure.
The fewer the ingredients, the better. The more whole foods you can get
Definitely agree with that.
the better. Now, what I don't understand, I couldn't really pull from this, is that they're trying to say clean eating evokes a sense of fear and obsession, that the food has to be aesthetically perfect and look a certain way before it should be eaten.
So it's like OCD with food?
Yeah.
I guess, you get a lot of foodies out there that said food needs to be a certain way. And really in nature, food is messy and it's sloppy, which is what makes it good. But so I don't want to, I'm for clean eating, but I guess it's how you interpret what clean eating is. If you're going to go to the extreme that it has to look a certain way, then I don't agree with that at all. And so I guess I agree with their stance on it.
Yes. Poo-poo the clean eating aesthetic food,
Agreed with that.
whatever they're trying to tell us.
The aesthetic look.
Yes.
I guess it's like it's less form over function and more function over form. So what is the nutrient density of the food? What's it doing for you? And less what does it look like and how's it presented? Which makes sense.
Absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. So what's in your food is what is important here. Next on the list is gluten-free diet.
This is working in retail. This is a big one.
Very profound, Sam.
Yeah.
We have a girl at our office that's gluten free, and I keep no offense to any gluten allergic people, but I always tell her it's made up. She just doesn't apparently like pizza or something. Which I know there's a gluten allergy.
This is one of those ones people take to an extreme.
Agreed.
Just
correct.
Just like the clean eating one.
And so you guys understand, Sam works in retail at Hy-Vee and in the organic section.
Yes.
So he sees fads come and go and stay and disappear. And gluten-free has been a staple for many years now.
Very big.
And a lot of it's fear and paranoia. You know, there are people who have celiac disease who truly are gluten intolerant, but there are very few people that are actually like that. Now, here's what I will say. I personally have tinkered with gluten-free. I no longer have any wheat-bearing noodles in my house. And being an Italian kid, growing up with my Italian grandmother, that was hard for me to do. But here's one thing I do know for myself, guys, is that when I stay away from gluten, my joints feel better. So I think there is argument for the amount of inflammation that your body experiences from gluten or yeast-bearing products. That doesn't mean I can't tolerate gluten. I mean, I'll eat noodles, I'll eat bread, and I'm fine. I'm not running for the bathroom, chucking up the rest of the night. It doesn't affect me in that way. But I think there's an extension of it that, hey, there are minor effects. All foods affect your body. You know, all food, anything going in your body will affect your body. For me personally, and other people I've talked to, it's an inflammation issue. My joints just feel better. I'm not as achy when I stay away from the gluten. I know some competitors who feel they can cut weight better if they stay away from the gluten. They don't hold as much water. To Sam's point, a lot of it is faddish. Yeah. People are buying gluten-free just because they think it's healthier, and you know, oh my God, I'm going to lose weight because I'm gluten-free, which really has nothing to do with losing weight at all. I would say, for the reasons of fear and paranoia, yes, poo-poo on a gluten-free diet. Yes. And what you need to do is you need to experiment with your body, and that's any diet for anybody listening, is that if you think something's affecting you adversely, what you need to do is eliminate it from your diet for a month and then introduce it back into your diet and see what the effect is. If you eliminate gluten, all gluten, and you guys got to remember, gluten is in everything.
Literally everything.
You know, and for the guys out there, that means getting rid of the beer, getting rid of all the fun stuff that is in your diet right now. It's got to go away. And then how do you feel? And then you introduce some gluten back into your diet. And if all of a sudden you're sitting on the pot, or all of a sudden your joints are screaming, hey, you know what? You might have a gluten intolerance. And then the next step is to go get checked and go get diagnosed, and then take precautions. But to be honest, do you really need to go to the doctor if you just proved it to yourself?
No, not at all.
Probably not. I don't know. I think we go to the doctor too many times. We suddenly need somebody to tell us something we already know. Okay, next on the list. Oh, bulletproof coffee.
Oh, come on. This list is
a staple for all the keto folks and paleo
that's
folks.
Huge.
So,
I know.
those of you know what bulletproof coffee is, and bulletproof coffee is actually a name brand coffee, but the concept of bulletproof coffee is using fats, specifically MCT oils and butters, melted into your coffee to allow you to get good, healthy fats into your diet. And doing it first thing in the morning will keep you satiated and less likely to eat useless calories and snack throughout the day. And the other piece is the thought process is that with the caffeine, it will bind to the fat, and then you'll have more of a time-released caffeine. I like it. I think it gives me a longer-lasting energy. A lot of that's due to the fat. I like fasting, and we can talk about intermittent fasting on the road here, but it helps me. I'll break my fast with a bulletproof coffee. Mm-hmm. So it's not that I'm putting a bunch of junk in my body. I use just regular butter, Land O'Lakes butter.
No, sir.
Land O'Lakes, if you hear this,
some people like the Kerrygold.
Yes, I am
fans of
Kerrygold.
Kerrygold is very popular right now. I actually haven't tried it yet. I need to.
Yeah, I tried it with regular butter versus Kerrygold. The Kerrygold makes it completely different. And other people that I talk to that do bulletproof coffee, we've had that conversation. And you are the first person I've met that puts regular butter in their bulletproof coffee.
You know what? Because I'm the man. That's why I'm the coach.
That could be.
Okay? I defy the odds. I defy.
That is true.
Now, I also just use straight coconut oil as well. And a lot of people use MCTs. And coconut oil is an MCT, right? Medium chain triglyceride. There are strict MCT oils you can get out there that are blends as well. And again, it's more of a funding factor for me. Coconut oil is just cheaper.
Sure.
So I just use regular butter and coconut oil. But again, you got to experiment, see what works for you. To recap here real quick, we are not in favor of the military diet. We agree to poo-poo that.
Poo-poo.
Keto and paleo is okay with us.
Yeah.
As is the bulletproof coffee.
Yes.
And clean eating, depending on how you interpret it. Yeah. I think anybody will agree clean eating is good. Stay away from processed foods. Eat whole, real foods.
Absolutely.
If you do nothing else in your diet, you will benefit tremendously from that. Oh, apple cider vinegar. I haven't tried this myself. There's a lot of people think this is like the cure-all of the ages.
It's a huge fad. I mean, they got drinks out with apple cider vinegar now and everything.
I took a swallow of it one time.
I've tried it.
And I thought I was cross-eyed afterwards.
I tried it for 3 weeks. I just couldn't stomach just drinking it. I
have not tried it. I'll stick to my bulletproof coffee.
We'll research more of the apple cider vinegar. And to our listeners, we will do episodes on all these diets just to give you more information on the know and what's going on with these diets and the scientific studies behind them. I think apple cider vinegar is just one of those things where you have to ease your way into it. I don't think you pour a big old glass of it and slam it.
We could try it.
Your stomach turn inside out. Yeah. We could try it, but that sounds more like a stupid college dare.
Well, that is
like who can drink the gallon of milk? Who can drink the gallon of apple cider vinegar?
Yeah. We're on early in the morning. We have our bulletproof coffee and we chase it with apple cider vinegar.
Chase it with apple cider vinegar.
They got these drinks now, like flavored, like grape flavored and stuff like that we can try that they came out with. So
interesting.
We can try that.
All right.
The last on the list is intermittent fasting, which we all do. I'm a big fan of fasting.
Yes,
I do too.
You fast anyway. For people out there, we fast anyway when we sleep. It's just a matter of extending the fast. I have a lot of people ask me how long you should fast. And again, I'll say, well, that's really up to you. I like to do a 12-hour fast every day. I feel good. I like to work out coming off of a fast, and then I start to eat the rest of the day. But fasting is just a great way to reset your body, clear your body of toxins and excess sugars. If you think about predators in the wild, they fast and gorge, and that's their eating cycle. And predators tend to be lean and muscular. Vice the grazing animals tend to be much larger and have a lot of body fat. So if you just look at it in that respect, fasting is a great way to begin to lean out your body and build muscle. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Go to some of our sponsors. You're listening to Treadmills and Tangents, 94.5, 1420. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Dr. Brad Winterstein today as a guest, bariatric surgeon over at Methodist Hospital and owner of Omaha Float Spa over on 180th and Pacific. Dr. Brad, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Obligatory handshake. Again, a little inside joke. We had recorded this once before and didn't quite work out for us. So we're here talking about floating again and sensory deprivation. And, I know a lot of our audience probably does not know too much about floating. And I didn't myself. I had heard about it a few years back. And to be honest, I wrote it off as something faddish in California, the fruits and nuts we're going to do for a while. And, things will be successful in spite of themselves because there's so many people out there. But, when you guys opened up one here a couple of years ago, it's about 18 months now you're open.
Yep.
And so I thought, okay, this has made its way to the Midwest. And I started researching a little bit. And, sensory deprivation floating has been around for quite a while. All the way back to the 1950s, there's been research on it. And it wasn't until Dr. Borey renamed it, thinking sensory deprivation had a negative connotation to the acronym REST, Restricted Environmental Stimulation Therapy. And then as research went on, floating started to take hold around the 1970s with Mr. John Lilly. And which brings us kind of up to date, it's kind of having a resurgence in the 2000s, a lot more study. And, I just want to start off by, asking you to explain a little bit what floating is in its basic essence and how the sensory deprivation ties into it.
So again, thanks for having me. Floating itself is basically lying in a tub or tank or cabin of fluid made up usually about 8 foot by 5 foot wide, maybe 10 to 12 inches of water. And in that body of water, you've got about 800 to 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt. That amount of Epsom salt gives you the buoyancy to float on it. And so that's the term, the flotation therapy. If you've ever heard of the Dead Sea, things like that, people go to the Dead Sea because of the density of that. They can float in that. This is where floating took off from, again, with the descriptions from Mr. Lilly that had way back in the 50s. It's progressed to now floating in Epsom salts. The sensory deprivation or the removal of sensation also is a benefit in that you lose sight, you lose sound, you can't feel anything, and there's basically no gravity in that when you're floating. And so all the external stimuli that we have go away, and you basically are sit there with, you can hear your heart, you can hear every breath you take, and then it's just you and your mind, and that's basically where it comes from.
Sure, and you're seeing, the studies are starting to show some tremendous benefits to it. It helps with hypertension, headaches, insomnia, arthritis. People with anxiety and depression are seeing benefits. And you guys yourself did some work with veterans with PTSD, and they saw some benefit as well.
Yeah, exactly. On Veterans Day last year, we had a Veterans Float Free Day, and you could tell that several of them fairly withdrawn when they came in, probably got signed up by someone else, maybe their wife or loved one. And when they were done with their hour of their flotation, more alert, more vibrant, total different outlook on life. And we heard from several of them that lasted several days.
Sure. So let me ask you this. How does a doctor like yourself, traditional Western medicine, get attracted to something that's outside the box like floating?
Interesting. In my role in surgery, metabolic bariatric surgeon, as well as a general surgeon, I've kind of taken the look at what we're doing isn't always the best, and I try to look for alternatives at times that we can help heal, do other things. And floating came around initially through some visualization of like YouTube from like Steph Curry, NBA, and then the NFL started promoting it several years ago for recovery. Being a CrossFit junkie that I was, especially way back then, and seeing some of the benefits of that, I looked into it. I went to Des Moines, which was the closest area around here at that time to float, and then found a guy that actually made our tank. He lives in Lincoln, or just outside of Lincoln, and did that. We came up with that for several aspects, for the recovery aspect, for athletes, anxiety, depression, and we're talking to a couple of groups here in the next few months about anxiety, depression, and things like that too.
So I floated the other day. It was my first time. People ask me, well, how was it? What'd you think of it? I answer them saying, I don't know. It was, I don't know if I did it right. I equate floating to one of those things like the first time you get a massage. Like, you don't know what a good massage is until you've had 1, 2, or 3. You don't know how much pressure you want, what kind of massage you really want, how long you want one. Understanding that floating is actually something I feel like you need to learn, just having experienced one time. What are your suggestions for somebody floating for the first time?
Totally accurate in your description. And for the first time, what we say is it's so abnormal of an experience that we just don't have lack of sensation, that you don't get all of the benefits the first time. You get lots of them, but it really takes, 15, 20 minutes your first time to really even try to relax, to know where to put your arms, to calm your mind, to even rest your neck and your muscles. You'll find out what's tight on you and everything like that. So for first-time floaters, it's really about coming in, trying to just get the process down of relaxing and things. People that meditate may be a little bit better at that, but even some of them, it's such a different way of coming about this. So first-time floaters, like you said, it takes 1 or 2 times. The second time you get more benefits. The third time is really when we start seeing the extreme benefits of relaxation, sleep improvement the next couple of days, and those types.
Sure. And the first time I went in, your wife had met me, and she gave me the rundown, what was going on. And I had some people in the gym that had done it before, so they kind of prepped me a little bit. And I chose to go into the larger room, the cabin. And because I do get a little claustrophobic once in a while. And I'm not going to lie to you, I opened the door and I looked down in that tub, and there's not a lot of water in there. Mm-mm. And my mind immediately went, there's no way I'm floating on this. I'm going to sink like a rock. I weigh about 220 pounds. There's no way. It doesn't even come up to your knee, the water.
No, about 11 inches.
Yeah, and she told me, okay, when you sit down, your feet are going to come up, and then when you lay back, you'll start to float. And sure enough, as soon as I sat down, my feet came right up, which is a weird feeling anyway. And then as soon as I laid back, I immediately started to float, and it caught me off guard, and I started to jostle. I felt like an elephant on a little floaty trying to get its balance, and I was just thrashing all over the place because I couldn't get my balance. I couldn't let myself relax, and I literally at one point had to brace myself with my hands and my feet on the sides of the tub. I must have been creating a heck of a racket outside, and then I had to tell myself, okay, you're here to float, you're going to relax. And it's hard. It's hard to let your stomach relax, let your body relax, and to trust that you're not going to sink in this thing.
Exactly. And that, even if you do, it's not that deep, but just the sheer different stimulation. It does take a while. It does.
Sure. And then when I finally laid back, and then I started to really feel, hey, what muscles are tense? Like my traps, my arms would float up, my shoulders would float to my ears. And I realized, wow, I carry a lot of tension in my neck and my shoulders. And if nothing else, I felt like the floating was like, wow, okay, I know where I'm tense now. I know maybe where I'm holding a lot of tension in my muscles that I didn't realize before until I tried to float.
Yeah. The second time you try, maybe position your arms a little different above your head, those types of things. And that comes with experience on how you like to float.
Which is something that, when I walked out, your wife had said, hey, next time put your arm over your head. And it didn't even cross my mind to float other than just flat on my back, that, I could just put my arm on my head and I'm not going to sink. And I could, we all sleep in different ways. So It makes sense that that's how you would get comfortable in the float chamber. Now, can you explain to me the sensory deprivation piece? What is it that the void of all sight and sound, how does it, because for me, even when I go on vacation, it takes me a couple of days just to wind down before I can even start to enjoy myself. So it was hard for me, for my mind to stop racing for a little while I was in there.
Yeah, and so there's been some studies on this that have looked at a lot of things. And first of all, just the sheer taking the tension off of the muscles in the spine and things like that help us relax. But long-term studies do show that cortisol levels drop. So that's where it helps with hypertension. If your cortisol level drop, less anxiety, because again, it's the fight or flight hormones, will make you maybe a little more anxious and things like that. So taking the sensory deprivation, the lights, the sounds, the stimuli away, that's the major benefit in those types of situations.
Can people float without the sensory deprivation and vice versa? Is there benefit to do them separately?
So, yeah, if, like you said, you had a little anxiety at first, and there are people with some claustrophobia, which is why we have the cabins that have like 7-8 foot ceilings versus the tank, which is a lot more enclosed. So claustrophobia, can leave the lights on if you want. We can keep music on if you need. You can turn different things on. You don't have to have the complete sensory deprivation. You'll still get the benefits. So you'll still get the benefits of the flotation, taking the pressure off your muscles. The magnesium in the salt helps with muscle relaxation, helps with better sleep at night. There's times that people come out of there that I even worry about them driving home because they're so relaxed that it's almost, I need them to stay there for a while just to kind of recover.
Sure. Now, is it common for people to fall asleep in there? And is that good, or is that counterproductive to fall asleep?
Many people fall asleep, and it actually, I wouldn't say it's good or bad. It's kind of what you want to get out of flotation. Okay. And so we're doing an artist program right now where artists come in and float for 3 times and try to help with their creative side. Hopefully not all of them are falling asleep because they're thinking about creative things, and the lack of extra stimulation will help with that. But if you're looking for recovery, anxiety, depression, if you can turn your mind off to that point where you're actually falling asleep, I think that's a huge benefit. And so, yeah, most people really do fall asleep in there.
And I noticed when I was in there and I finally got to relax and I finally got to float and my mind started to shut off, I felt like I was moving the whole time. And I don't know if I actually was moving because you can't feel so warm in there. The water's warm. You can't really feel where the water begins and the air ends. And you feel like you're moving. You're just kind of spacing off. Surreal is the only way I could think about it.
Yeah.
And you almost have to not think about that. It's like, oh, this surreal feeling is going on, and let yourself just kind of just let go.
Yeah, and it does. It gives you that sensation of there's nothing, and we're not used to that. And so you don't know, is it maybe you're feeling the spin because you actually are spinning? Is that something, an inner ear thing? It's really difficult, but I still get that feeling, especially early on at the beginning of the float. I get that feeling of movement, and there's none.
Now, how often would you recommend somebody to float?
It depends on what they want to get out of it. People with anxiety, depression, more often early on will get benefits for 2 to 3 days. And then, so if you do it every week, you'll find that improves it early on. And then you can maybe go a little bit longer every couple of weeks to do that. We have one of our clients that comes in every holiday, right at the beginning of the holiday, just to help deal with the stresses of holidays. If you're looking for recovery after a hard workout or things like that, maybe once a month, kind of like you would do with a massage. If you've been training for a big event, say a marathon or something like that, come in right after that hard workout or that event to help with the muscle recovery, the lactic acid flush away and things like that.
Sure. Now, you'd mentioned magnesium is a major component in the bath. Is there a fear of absorbing too much magnesium? I mean, sitting in 800 pounds, I mean, that's just mind-boggling that you guys got 800 pounds worth of salt in 10 inches of water. So it's fairly concentrated. So is there a worry that, hey, maybe this is too much for me?
We're all basically a little depleted, even if you're taking magnesium supplements. The body's a great regulator. It has a way to maximize and minimize that. The only concern that I really have is people with end-stage kidney disease or on dialysis that wouldn't be able to get rid of it on their own.
What about, you talk about kidney disease, someone coming in dehydrated. Is that a worry? It's like, is it okay to work out prior coming to a float where I might be a little bit dehydrated rolling into it?
I actually think that we see the most benefits, especially recovery-wise, after people come in right after a hard workout. I haven't seen anyone, and there's really no studies that show it dehydrates you to a point. But we do offer fluids afterwards because it is just the such a relaxation. It does help with that afterwards.
Really no different than getting a bottle of water after a massage.
Exactly.
And helping you recover a little bit. One thing I want to ask, this is really an emerging type of therapy, massage, and how do you see this fitting in with the outside the box kind of treatments that are all else out there?
It is an adjunct. I think it's something that obviously, especially around here, is new. We were the first to open up here in Omaha, about 18 months ago, but there's several areas around here and they all do a wonderful job. I think it's an adjunct to, say, recovery for, like I said, athletics, recovery from anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and those types of things. So I would use it as you would a massage, something that you can improve your overall characteristics of your living, your outlook on life, and things like that tend to get lost.
Which is great because, there's always, not every therapy works for everybody.
No.
And more avenues that are out there, I think that just gives people options to try. What resonates with one person may not resonate with another. And, especially with the interest in PTSD and the high rates of suicide, especially amongst our vets,
yes.
This might be the thing that clicks for somebody.
It really does.
And, so at least it's worth a try. There's no harm, no foul from what I can see in floating. You just lay in the body of water for a while.
And if you don't like it, like you said, no harm, no foul. There's nothing wrong if you don't like it.
Now, what would be an extension of floating? In other words, you got the floating, you got the sensory deprivation. Is there anything else that you think you could be added to that to enhance the experience?
I think that meditation is another thing that would add, again, anything that will bring your stress levels down. Massage is a benefit. We're looking at possibly even adding, say, a infrared sauna into the practice as well to help with some of those other benefits.
In terms of nutrition and whatnot. So, you're floating this magnesium, you're kind of detoxifying your body, you're relaxing your body. What could we do nutritionally that would now parlay after coming off?
Oh, that's a big
Pandora's box.
That's a Pandora's box we could get into for multiple episodes on this show. But again, from my standpoint, I think the standard American diet is not obviously that great. And if we're talking about wellness and health, coming back to really just a whole foods approach to nutrition, I think that's where the basis starts, to good food that will spoil. We can start that process, fine-tuning from there.
Now, do you ever see something like floating making it into mainstream medicine in which you would see doctors prescribing floats for patients?
It depends on the practice. I do have some people that are being referred from psychiatrists for anxiety, depression. Definitely seeing that, and they're starting to realize those benefits. I have talked to some orthopedic surgeons that definitely see the benefit. We're working on physical therapy. And then I think the next big branch would be possibly even neurologists for like post-concussion syndromes and things like that.
Interesting. I appreciate the time today. You guys check out Omaha Float Spa, 180th and Pacific. It's right across the street from Hy-Vee and it's tucked back behind the Good Life Bar and Grill back there. It's a great place. I had a great experience. Again, I'm gonna try it again because I think it takes a couple times to really figure it out. It
definitely does.
And, I learned a lot about my body just laying in that water. And what's really surprising is once you finally relax, an hour goes by fast.
Yeah, it really does.
Incredibly fast. And before I know it, the music came back on. I was like, oh, it's time to go. And I was just figuring it out right when it was time to go. So I'm excited to get back in there.
Yeah, your second one will be a lot better.
All right, I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Aaron.
We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Welcome back to Treadmills and Tangents, coming to you from the Man Cave. I am Coach Aaron, here with my wellness warriors, Timmy and Sam.
Good morning, guys.
Guys, we're going to play a little game right now. We're going to play Fact or Fudge.
All right.
Fact or Fudge. I'm going to give you a statement. You need to tell me if it's fact or if you think it's fudge, as in fudge. Christmas story fudge. This is a Christian station. Let's keep it clean. So fact or fudge. Here we go. Avocados are green vegetables.
Fudge.
Fudge. That is true, guys. Avocados are in fact fruits. They're not vegetables. They grow on trees in the genus Persea and Lauraceae family. I probably butchered that pronunciation. I need to get better on that. Self-admitted, I need to get better on my genus and species pronunciations, as all people should, by
Absolutely.
the way. Little known fact, avocados cannot self-pollinate. Avocado trees, you have to have 2 of them. So if you're going to plant an avocado tree in your backyard, which I don't think they can grow in Nebraska. They grow in California and Florida, which I read today that the Florida avocados are bigger than the California avocados. And I also read that in Spain, the Spaniards have created a light avocado with half the fat. Which really defeats the purpose of an avocado because it is a great source of good fat. So I encourage everybody to avoid the light avocados, but I don't even know how you can tell the difference. I could not find anywhere. I Googled the daylights out of it, how you can tell the difference between a light and a dark avocado, for lack of a better term.
Very, very small version, so like a mini?
A skinny avocado. That could be it. It might be just size.
It just might be size.
Which is a great marketing ploy. Half the calories, it's also half the size. Yeah. Anyway, next one. Smoothies. Everybody likes a good smoothie. Oh, yeah. Especially after workout. Were first developed by the Mayans as a way of administering medicines over 1,000 years ago.
Fact.
I'm going to say fudge.
My Mayan friends tell me they invented the smoothie.
Timmy apparently has a lot of Mayan friends.
I know some people, man.
He knows his peeps are
sorry.
Mayans.
I read it on Twitter.
It's in fact fudge.
Oh, man.
Smoothies have been around for a long time, dating back to the 30s. Actually, fruit smoothies have been part of the South American culture for a long, long time. But the term smoothie was coined out in California, and it's actually trademarked in the 1930s. And it really coincided with the advent of the blender. Little story, in the 20s, there was a man named Julius Freed who had trouble digesting oranges. It was too acidic, so he created a concoction that his friends would say, hey, give me one of those orange, Julius, and it became the Orange Julius.
Oh, that's how that name came out.
Yeah, and I love me an Orange Julius.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I tried making them in my house, and it's not the same. It's that little powder. You notice how they put like a little thing of powder in it? Like, what is that powder?
They're not telling us.
That's their secret.
I got to find out what it is. Orange Julius, please call us. Treadmills and Tangents, 945-1420, and tell us what the secret powder is.
Or just send us a bunch of it.
In 1973, Steve Kunow founded Smoothie King, which was the first chain of restaurants offering smoothies to the public.
Fact.
Well, no, that was part of the
was it?
discussion.
That was part of the discussion.
You gotta let me say, okay, next one. Sam's new to this, folks.
Yeah.
He's new. Broccoli is a favorite of paleo pundits due to its natural availability throughout the United States.
Fudge.
I'll go with fact on that one, too.
Why do you
I'm a
think it's
broccoli
fudge?
lover.
I don't paleo.
Sam doesn't like
paleo.
So
Sam doesn't like broccoli.
It is.
I like broccoli, but
it is fudge.
yeah.
Broccoli is a staple of the paleo diet, but here's
can't
why
be
it's
found
fudge.
everywhere. Correct.
Broccoli is man-made. It is human invention. It is a result of crossbreeding of a wild cabbage plant. So broccoli, all the lovers of broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, all those nice greens that we try to avoid as kids, those are all man-made due to crossbreeding. They're actually technically genetically modified organisms.
I did not
GMO.
know. Did not know it
I
was
did not
man-made.
either.
Which is funny because GMO is the devil, right?
Yeah.
It's non-GMO. Sam, I want you to tell me, Fat High V, if they carry non-GMO broccoli, because that is impossible.
No, they don't.
Broccoli is GMO.
That's
Isn't that
interesting.
great? So broccoli's man-made. So
Interesting.
when you hear a paleo person, I eat broccoli, go find me some broccoli. I want you to run outside with your paleo spear and find me some broccoli, because you won't. It is not found in the wild.
I never thought about
which
that.
is cool. Okay.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Dark chocolate that is at least 50% cocoa or cacao, depending how you pronounce it, is considered healthy.
Fact.
Fudge.
I'm
It has to
over
be at
4 now.
least 70% in volume cacao to start reaping the benefits that are considered healthy. Dark chocolate's shown to lower cholesterol levels and blood pressures, and it's loaded with flavonoids or polyphenols, which are known as flavonoids, and which is an antioxidant, which is basically attacks free radicals in your body. So you need to get the 70% or higher. I like 85%, but for most people it tastes like chalk. 100% is really the baking chocolate, but most people can't stomach the 70% or higher. But yeah, 70% or higher dark chocolate.
I feel like he's just setting us
Side
up.
note, to give you some perspective, white chocolate is 0%. It's actually not chocolate at all. It just has some of the fats in it. Milk chocolate is 10 to 20%. Semi-sweet, 35 to 60%. Bittersweet, 65 to 80%. And unsweetened, 85 and higher.
Good little knowledge right there.
So you really should stick to the unsweetened chocolate as your snack, is what you need to do. Okay, guys. High fructose corn syrup is worse than table sugar.
Ooh.
High fructose corn syrup. That's a very volatile topic.
That is
worse
I'm
than
gonna
table
say
sugar.
Fact.
Timmy, fact or fudge? High fructose
that's
corn
a
syrup.
tough one, but
I'm gonna go.
table sugar.
I'm sticking fact. I think that's true.
It is fudge.
I almost went fudge
It
just to
is
switch
no
it up.
worse or no better than table sugar.
the same.
It's simply a sugar in terms of the effect that it has on your body, which is, I've gotten in discussions, I want to say argument,
He's
but
so
I
upset
like
on
to
that
say
one.
discussions, and that you got to get the high fructose corn syrup out of it. I go, guys, it's sugar.
Yeah.
Right.
Sugar is sugar.
Absolutely.
And,
That's
and a lot
for
of
sure.
people, even like sugar out of a grape, has the same effect on your body as table sugar. Just different sugars get into your blood system faster. So there's a lot of poo-poo on high fructose corn syrup, but truth be told, if you're going to put a scoop of sugar in your coffee in the morning, you
Same
might as
thing.
well put the high fructose corn syrup in. That is the end.
Oh,
Oh, that's the food truck. Indeed. Who's hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry.
The food truck's off the hook today. It is. Guys, here's what we're going to do. The food truck brings us some tasty treats and foods to try that we're going to sample on here and review. So these foods are coming from the Hy-Vee organic section that Sam works in. Sam's up on, was it Maple?
108th and 4th.
108th and 4th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's Hy-Vees everywhere, so I lose track
they
of
are.
them. They're like ticks anymore.
They are, but they all have the
In a
organic
good way,
section,
in a good
which
way.
I am
They all
a
have
huge
the
fan
health
of.
market
So
section, yes.
anyway,
Sam, what'd you bring us today?
So I brought us some Protein 2.0 protein drinks.
Okay, hand one over. So we got Protein 2.0, which is protein-infused water.
Yes.
I have dragon fruit and blackberry.
got
we
peach
had
mango
awesome
right
dragon
here.
fruit over in Thailand.
we did.
Which we'll
Yeah.
talk about that next episode, folks. My Warriors and I went over to Thailand for a couple weeks, which was a great experience. So on the bottle, Protein 2.0, 10 grams of protein, 5 grams of sugar, 60 calories, no artificial sweeteners. Oh, only one serving per bottle, which I encourage everybody when you read these things, always the fine print, how many servings, because it might look healthy, but then there's like 5 servings in the bottle.
Absolutely.
Gluten-free, of course, because there's no wheat in it. 20% daily value of your protein, lactose-free, because there's no dairy in it. Ingredients: water, whey protein, isolate, cane sugar, natural flavors. I always am skeptical when they say natural flavors. What natural flavors? Just tell me. And vegetable juice for color. So we're basically it's sweetened with stevia, which is a natural plant from South America, Brazil, that has shown to be not as insulin-inducing as regular sugar. All right, guys, let's try it. Let's see what we got. What flavor do you have?
I got the peach mango. These are actually new flavors. These they've only been out for a couple months now.
I have a little something different. It's called Zen. It's a restore and fortify drink. Here, I'll hand this over to you if you want to read some of the facts off all the big words.
Cumin and
First,
turmeric.
the protein, pretty good. The dragon fruit and blackberry
Try the
is
peach
pretty
mango.
good.
This one, peach mango.
I haven't tried the dragon fruit yet.
Guys,
Ooh, that's
I would use this kind of like a supplement. I would not use this as a replacement in your diet. No. If you're the type of person who's busy and you can't quite get all your meals in, use something like the Protein 2.0 as a supplement, or getting an extra meal in if you're an athletic person trying to build some muscle. But I definitely wouldn't replace anything in your diet. It's good. It looks clean to me. No sugars in it, just a little bit of cane sugar, but overall. Now, if you're a paleo or a keto person, this is gonna not jive for your diet. But I would not call this bad at all. No, it's got a little more sugar than I like, but it's pretty balanced. 10 grams of protein, it really is negligible. It's not too much. It's not gonna keep you full very long. This will run through you, but I wouldn't call it bad. I wouldn't call it great, but it's solid.
Something to
There's
to
worse
just get
things
you by.
to drink, right?
Just to get you
If
by.
you're gonna grab a pop, I would grab one of these.
Absolutely.
Much faster. Most pop has 40 to 50 grams of sugar. This has got 5, so pretty negligible. So Protein 2.0, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah,
up.
the,
I like it.
the dragon fruit for me tasted better than the peach mango. That dragon fruit was just a little
I
bit.
agree with that.
Yeah, the peach mango is not bad, but the dragon fruit.
I would agree with that.
I would vote.
I'm not a peach
They
guy
got-
anyway.
I think they got like 8 flavors. They got a couple coconuts and other cherries and stuff like that.
Okay, next one is Zen. Is it Zen or Zine?
Zen, I believe.
Zen. Oh, Zen.
Zen.
Okay, it's a turmeric drink. And that's something that we've been looking at hard lately is golden milk, which is a turmeric drink. And the benefits of turmeric are really starting to come out as far as, even being anti-cancerous. Thousands of years, cultures around the world have used turmeric for a wide range of health benefits. Now we have extracted its source and anti-inflammatory, antioxidant healing properties of curcumin and blended it with a perfectly piperin. Blended it perfectly with piperin for optimal absorption in the body. Refreshing drink packed full of restorative and fortifying benefits. Now, if you've tried turmeric, it's very prevalent in Indian foods. So if you like Indian food, you probably like turmeric drinks. I made a batch of golden milk the other day. It was my first crack at it, and it was horrible. I'll admit that it was horrible. I need to fine-tune that recipe, assuming I followed the recipe properly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try Zen. This is mixed berry, restore and fortify. This is a turmeric drink.
This should be interesting.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I like it. There's only 2 grams of sugar in it.
Brand new. I haven't even tried
There's
it yet.
2 servings, so you're really going to pull down 2 grams of sugar, 3 grams of carbohydrates. So you're pulling in 6 and 4 collectively, but there's really nothing else in it. So it truly is a purely turmeric drink. It gets its sugar from a little bit of cane sugar and apple juice, which is what a lot of drinks will use. They'll use apple juice and grape juice to flavor it and sugar it. But
Could use a lot worse.
Proprietary blend of curcumin and piperin or piperin. I got to look up how to say that. Oh, there's some stevia in it as well. Pretty good. Here.
I'm curious on this one.
Mixed berry. I really, it's one of those mixed berries. You really can't tell like what berries you're mixing, but it's not bad.
Oh, that's good.
I'd give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
They really mask the turmeric in there.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was worried about.
Turmeric in some of the other drinks really comes out strong, especially in the golden milk, but this masks it pretty good. That's good. I like Indian food.
Ooh, that is
so
good.
I was really surprised I didn't like the golden milk, but this is really good. It
does-
sweet.
and it
It's not
doesn't-
overly sweet though.
No, and it doesn't taste like what you like. If you're used to mixed berry thing, if you keep an open mind, it's not an overbearingly berry, but it's good.
So
I
that's
like it.
Zyn, Z-Y-N, in the organic section at Hy-Vee. Okay, last one. What do we got?
Quest cookies.
Quest cookies.
They're new
Quest
cookie.
protein cookie. Now, protein cookies in the last couple of years have really flooded the market. And it was really a way for people trying to watch their diet, watch their weight to get some dessert into it. So you started seeing protein cookies come out. Some are really good. Some guys are just like any other cookie. They're loaded with sugar, which is why they're good. So you really got to watch the packages on these. What's on the back, how much sugar, how many carbs are in it. Quest cookies, soft and chewy. Chocolate chip flavored, 15 grams of protein, less than a gram of sugar, 9 grams of fiber. Now, no gluten, so it's gluten free.
Yes, it is.
Now, guys, when you see less than 1 gram of sugar or total sugars, you really have to look at because some of them play the fiber game. So in other words, you'll see, in this case, 19 carbs, 9 grams of dietary fiber. So they will pull that fiber count out of the carbs and then try to give you how much sugar is in it. So you got to be careful if you're diabetic, how they play the numbers game on the back. And remember, carbs will give you 4 calories, protein 4 calories, and fats 9 calories. So kind of do some math and see what the calorie count is, and then kind of go over and see how much carbs are in it. So here we go. 1 cookie, 250 calories. 150 calories from fat, so that's good if you're a paleo guy. Not bad. I wouldn't go out of my way for one.
No.
I mean, if somebody offered me one and I was hungry, like I was starving and I was in between meals, I'd throw it down. But I really wouldn't go out of my way for it. And that tends to be my assessment of most protein cookies. Yeah. It's not bad. A little dry. That tends to happen with bars and cookies.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'm with you on that one. It's dry. There's other protein cookies out there that'd probably
Yeah, you better have some
one.
water and milk nearby.
Yeah,
The peanut butter flavored one is good, but
The more I chew this thing, the more it's sticking to the top of my mouth.
yeah, you
I got
want to try the peanut butter one?
Yeah,
I got
gonna
the-
be worse.
I got the double chocolate chip, and
let's
it's
try this
very
one over
dry.
here. Chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. Oh yeah.
I can't even talk right now. It's
Yeah,
like taste in my
they're
mouth.
very dry.
The
So this
chocolate-
is getting
kinda
worse
disappointed.
as I chew.
The chocolate one is definitely
That's
the driest.
The
All right.
chocolate chip flavors.
All right, let's try the chocolate chip one over here.
The peanut butter is pretty soft.
Yeah, it was soft.
Now, Tim, you made some keto cookies,
I have made keto cookies.
and the primary ingredient was peanut butter.
Correct.
And they were really soft and tasty.
Peanut butter, eggs, and stevia, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. And they were soft for a week. And fantastic.
Okay, I think I'm gonna poo-poo this one a little bit.
I'm gonna poop.
The flavor's
You wanna
not
hand me over
bad,
one of them?
but the more I chew it, the more I don't feel like I can open my mouth.
Yeah.
And you better have, these guys are down on the N2O, the protein 2Os, to try to save themselves. All right, that's it for the food truck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Each week we're going to do a food truck episode and bring some foods from the various stores to try and review and talk a little bit about the health benefits of them for you. So when you do some shopping, you can do some smart shopping. Okay, that's it for us today. I hope you enjoyed the first edition of Treadmills and Tangents. This is Coach coming to you from the Man Cave with my wellness warriors, Tim and Sam.
Have a great day, guys.
Have a good morning, guys.
All right, thanks for coming in, guys. We'll see you next week, every Saturday, 9 a.m., 94.5, 1420.
Tune in each Saturday morning with fun banter on what it takes to live a healthier, happier, and more vibrant life in the Big O. Treadmills and Tangents with Coach Aaron Cerrone and his army of wellness warriors.